Hey guys, this is the first of a few tours that I'm going to make of the garden that I have here in southern Chile. I preferred to get a recording on a day where it was a lot sunnier, and today the sun was supposed to come out, but as you can see, there's no sun. It's all misty and cloudy because we're in winter here, as opposed to the northern hemisphere, Europe and the US, Canada, Mexico, where you guys are in summer. So here's the beginning of one of the few tours that I'm gonna give. Here we have our water system. It's just a regular tank on the top of a platform that gives you gravity-fed water, and the water comes down through there, goes into a filter, which is really important if you want to go and cultivate organically and regenerative food and healthy produce, to which your water should be always filtered, because if you don't have your water filtered, it'll clog up all your drainage, all your irrigation, and then you'll have a bad season of growing, a bad growing season. So there's your water filter right there to check the water filter. The tank actually has water in there right now. You can see the water line up in there. But you will have this closed, and your water filter is in this part right here. You just unscrew this part right here. And it's probably dirty because I didn't change it. You can see it's kind of clogged up. This is one of the few recordings that I have ever done, so bear with me on the quality and everything. It might not be too great, but I'll try to get better with time. As you can see in there, all of the water minerals or residue, and it's all the gunk that's caught up in the water filter. So what you would do is you just open that up, open the irrigation. We had some heavy freezes, so everything's with ice. You will let that run, ideally with a toothbrush or some type of brush, and just clean out the water filter. And as you can see, it's starting to get clean. So you always want to keep that rinsed out and clean so your water can drain perfectly, and you can have good water flow in your irrigation. The idea was to put two water tanks, the big one and a smaller one right here on top of this platform. But because I'm only one person operating this whole market garden system and all of this field here where I cultivate, that was never gotten around to. As you can see, this whole area, before I had it all in cultivation, these rows right here, these were rows that I had right here. It was if I remember correctly, 5 rows. They were a meter long, a meter wide, the rows. You can see the indentation kind of right there. These were the rows that are here, from right here, about right here, to about right here, and then that was a walkway. And then you have right there was another row, that was the walkway, and so on up the hill. This past season, I didn't cultivate hardly anything, so everything's gotten away from me, escaped. And this coming season, which the growing season starts in around August to around April, and that's our growing season here in the southern hemisphere. But as you can see, it's all full of grass, and for a while there I had a good system being able to keep the grass under control, because I don't use herbicide, I don't use fertilizer, commercial fertilizer, fungicide, any of that. So pretty much it's just all taken care of by keeping your weeds suppressed, making sure the grass doesn't go to seed and replants itself, and create more weeds. So as you can see here, it's all full of grass. And you guys are going to be on the process of seeing me reclaim this whole field again this season, which is the season 2026 to 2027. And I'm going to cultivate all of this again, all in this area. I plan on planting, not sure yet. I'm still getting my season together here and planning, but I'm probably going to plant maybe grains or beans in this whole field here. Last season, that's one thing I did plant. I planted buckwheat. Some of you might know of buckwheat, but it's just pretty much a cereal grain, and it's pretty easy to grow. And in this whole field I planted the buckwheat. It didn't grow really tall and really good, but I got a good harvest of seed, probably maybe 20 pounds of seed out of just planting around 2 pounds of seed. So it's a pretty good return. And this year, if you notice, it's full of clover. These are ditches and different canals I dug to be able to help water saturate into the soil, and it works pretty good. All of this here is all overgrown in clover, which is not a bad problem, because if you see the clover, it's a little frozen and everything because of the frost that we had, but the clover will slowly but surely put nitrogen back into the soil, and that's a good thing, because this growing season I'm planning on planting a lot of legumes in this area, in this whole field, all the way to the fence line around there, to the fence line over here. It's a pretty good area. It's going to be planted in legumes, which would be lentils, black beans, garbanzos, things of that nature. Over here, this is a field of strawberries that we have in production. It's all dormant now, but you guys will be able to see them become thriving plants, hopefully. We've been having problems with water in summer. We usually have irrigation problems right in the middle of summer, and then the strawberry plants suffer because of that. So this year, fingers crossed, hopefully we'll have a little bit better of a growing season. But this whole field, all the way to those little sticks, which were sunflowers that I grew for seed, which I'm going to plant again this season in a different area. This is the whole field of strawberries, which is around 4,000 plants of strawberries, more or less. And all of that is operated by myself, and usually maybe one helper. These are little blocks that I have. Is blocks of 10 rows. These are the market garden style beds that I have. It's, if I remember correctly, 30-inch bed with 18-inch walkway. It's a little bit out of order right now. It's not very well maintained and all of that, so of course I'm going to have to do lots of work with reclaiming and making the beds again and getting the weeds down, which I don't want to use herbicide, because in keeping in practice with growing organically, you try not to use herbicide, because herbicides eventually creates problems in the soil, and then also it can create problems with your fungal network, which is naturally in the soil, and you don't want to mess that up, because all of that helps the soil be healthy, and then you grow healthier crops. These areas I tilled up lightly in the fall, and whatever I planted didn't do very well. Actually, I only planted one row right here. It was green onions, but the season didn't go very well, so it didn't take very well, I don't think. And that's how agriculture, farming, growing gardening, that's how it goes. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. Here, these are the end of the rows that I have. And as you can see, when I go and take up any residue from the garden beds, these garden beds, when I'm weeding or anything like that, or crop residue, I usually always pile up the residue on this little berm, you can say, this berm right here, which is with a living hedgerow that I'm trying to work. These are native trees. They're called maki. Maki is similar to elderberry in the northern hemisphere, but it's native to here, and it's said to be one of the highest, one of the fruits with highest antioxidants. That's the word I'm trying to look for. The highest antioxidant rich fruit. It's like a little berry, but I planted all of those along the borderlines of where the blocks of growing area that I have to divide the blocks. Similar to what they did in Europe years ago with hedgerows. That's a good practice. So as you can see, it's all unorganized and disorderly, and that I have to go and work on getting to be better next season. Down there in the distance, I have 2 greenhouses. A greenhouse for growing, and then another greenhouse on the side over there. You can see between those 2 little bushes, those are that greenhouse is for propagating seedlings. I'm not going to do a really long tour today because you can't really see that clearly, and it's kind of cold out here. But I just wanted to do a little update, or a first tour of our used to be market garden, what we do, how it looks like right now, and how it's going to look like in the future, because I'm going to take you guys on a tour step by step along how I grow things organically, plant them, harvest them, which is a lot of information. You'll get to see how we plant grains, legumes, potatoes, tomatoes, regular vegetable crops, and how you plant that organically and harvest it and take care of it. And it might help you along with your journey on how you want to grow your food. Okay, I'm going to end this video right here. It's a little awkward doing a first recording and video, but I hope this helped you, and stay tuned for more.